Hey guys, so I just wanted to make a video about some of the things that I wish I knew prior to buying my KLR 650. So the first thing is also the most important thing. You need to look at getting the right bike to fit your style and your needs. You need to look at what kind of riding you're going to be doing most. Is it going to be highway, commuting, long trips? Will it be single track, fire roads? What kind of off-roading you're going to be doing? I wouldn't get so much as caught up on the specs of the bike. I know a lot of new riders are kind of scared of the 650 and over class, but I have a KLR 650 and almost every 250 dual sport is quicker and faster than my bike. So you do need to look at the weight of the bike, because when you drop it off-road, which you will, you need to be able to pick it up. You also need to look at the seat height, because if you're a tall person, you're not going to want to get maybe a DR200 that has a shorter seat height. And also if you're shorter, you're not going to want to get something like a KLR with a 35-inch seat height. But also there's different aspects to that. The KLR seat is really wide, but the KLX has a narrow seat, so it doesn't feel as tall as a KLR, even though they're pretty identical. So go out, sit on the bikes, test them out, and see how they feel. But definitely don't be scared of getting a 650 or over. So after you've narrowed down what kind of bikes you're looking at, you need to look at the expenses. So motorcycles, they're going to range vastly in price. You can get a CSC TT250 for $2,500 up to a KTM 1290 for $19,000. So you just need to set a budget and stick to it, because after you purchase the motorcycle, you're going to be looking at getting insurance as well. And one thing I was unaware of is that most motorcycle insurances make you pay 6 months to a year in advance. So I'm 30 years old, have a KLR, and I'm paying I think $341 a year. So that just gives you kind of a idea of how expensive the motorcycle insurance is. Along with the insurance, you're gonna need to get a set of riding gear. So I consider the minimum set to be a DOT approved helmet, which will range vastly. You're looking at $100 to $800 for the helmet. Gloves, about $100 for that. You're going to need boots, so $75 to $500 on those, and a jacket, a good jacket too. So if you're going to be riding in groups, you're going to want to get some sort of goggles. It also ranges, you can get them $20 to $200. So just, like I said, set the budget, because there are a lot of expenses even after you purchase the bike. So moving on to number 3, we're going to look at tools and equipment. So you're going to need a couple different specialty tools for motorcycles, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of riding by yourself off-road. You're going to want to have a good assortment of tools to fix anything that may arise out on the trail, so you're not just stuck out there stranded. So the first thing we're going to look at, you're going to need some kind of jacking system to get tire off the ground flats, new tubes, tire spoons, chain breaker, and it's also a good idea to get a little T-fitting socket set. That way it's just easier to get the fairings off to get to into the bike, I guess. And in addition to all these tools, you're also going to need to find somewhere to put all these tools when you're out there riding. So you're going to need some kind of luggage system is preferred. I mean, a backpack will work, but it's going to be kind of heavier. However, it will be cheaper just to have a backpack. Also, you're going to be looking at protecting your purchase as well, the bike. So off-road, you're more than likely going to put it down a couple times. Regardless of that, still you're going to have trees, you're going to have rocks flying up, different things like that, maybe bottom out the frame some. So you're going to want some kind of good skid plate to protect the engine from rocks and debris that are getting thrown up from the front tire. You're also going to want some kind of good crash bars, so when you do lay the bike down, you're not going to have to replace all the fairings. And also some hand guards. Not only do these protect your hand from the wind a little bit, but they're also going to protect you from trees, shrubs, anything that may hit your hands. But the biggest benefit to the hand guards are that when you do lay the bike down, they're going to protect those levers, which they're not that expensive. However, it can leave you stranded out there if you do break a lever. So number 4 on the list is going to be the maintenance for the motorcycle. It's a lot cheaper to learn on your own and figure out how to do all the different manufacturer required maintenance for the bike. To do this, I would suggest looking at different forums, YouTube videos, and buying some kind of manual that goes into detail for all the different maintenance required for the bike. Just the basics that you're going to need to know how to do are going to be chain adjustments, tire inspections, tire inflation, oil changes. You're going to need to know how to do the cables, clutch cable, throttle cable. If your motorcycle is going to be carbureted, you're going to need to know how to tune the carb, clean the carb. Petcock is going to be one. Make sure you know how it works. Just different things like that. A lot of the bigger things, tearing apart the engine, aren't going to be very frequent, but to do the valve adjustments, a lot of the times you're going to have to do that. But like I said, there's plenty of forums out there, plenty of videos. With today's technology, anybody can really work on their bike as long as you have the tools and the time. You can pretty much figure out how to do most of the things. And the 5th and last thing that I wish I knew is the amount of time that motorcycles can take up. So I'm married, I have a 4-year-old, and I didn't realize how much time motorcycles could take up. Just the maintenance alone, you're looking at quite a bit of time, especially the first time you do all these different tasks that you need to on the bike. It's just a learning process, so it's going to take a lot of time. Also, I don't know how close you're going to be to any kind of off-roading if that's what you're looking at doing. So you're going to have to commute to the trails and commute back. Luckily for me, I live about 10 minutes away, so it's not that hard to get out there and ride. Usually on Saturday and Sunday, while my son's taking a nap, I can get out there for maybe an hour and ride and be back before he even wakes up. So it kind of all works out. But that's one of the things that you need to look at, is just kind of juggling the time between work and family and riding, because ultimately the motorcycle is going to be a luxury, so it's going to end up coming last in regards to the priorities. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up the 5 things that I wish I knew prior to purchasing a motorcycle. However, I just don't want you to think that owning a motorcycle has to be a big expensive hobby. There's plenty of bikes out there, used bikes that you can get for cheap, secondhand gear. I wouldn't so much go and get a secondhand helmet, but there are cheaper brands, cheaper quality, if you can't really afford it all at once. Also, you don't have to get all the gear at once. I know when I first got my bike, I still wanted to do some off-roading, but I didn't have all the tools that I needed to fix the bike if I got stranded, so I just kind of wouldn't wander off too far, knowing if something were to happen, I'd be pushing it back. Although owning a motorcycle seems to be pretty expensive, and it is, and also very time consuming. However, once you do the maintenance tasks that are required, initially it just becomes easier and quicker once you start knowing what you're doing. I don't want any of this to deter you from purchasing a motorcycle, because it is a great hobby to have. However, I'm just hoping this video helps you prepare to make that purchase, therefore it's less stressful and you're able to enjoy it more. So I just wanted to thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed.